Pixar's latest Cars 2 has critics in a tailspin and speeding away from theater showings. What's so different from this film and the popular prequel of 2006? Today we look back on the successful Cars, the original, on Movieology. Welcome to Movieology, your ticket to engaging the spectacular world of film from the bedrock of biblical truth. I am Joseph Darnell. It makes sense to me that Cars 2 won't be for everyone. But what's with the overwhelming backlash? Is Cars 2 really all that disappointing? Because Cars and Cars 2 have been two of the least favorite Pixar films for general audiences, we have chosen to look back at the first film before we review the second. We have our very own Ben Hodges, who is the copywriter of American Vision. Ben, great to have you on the show.
Thanks, Joe. Glad to be here.
Ben has some interesting observations about the original Cars that I think had slipped past most audience members. So I'm letting him handle this one, and then I'll handle Cars 2 on Thursday. So Ben, take it away.
Awesome. Let's get to it.
In a fictive universe inhabited only by machines, a rookie race car named Lightning McQueen is determined to win the Piston Cup, the most treasured prize in all of racing. But when his arrogance and poor planning get him trapped in a small, dying town, while on the way to capture his coveted award, he is forced to learn some tough lessons that may help turn his life around. Pixar's Cars stars the voice talents of Owen Wilson, Larry the Cable Guy, Bonnie Hunt, and the late Paul Newman. It was directed by John Lasseter and Joe Ranft. Greetings, Movieology fans. I hope to shed some light on an older film that's going to be getting a lot more publicity in the coming weeks as Cars 2 awakens memories of its predecessor. Pixar's original Cars is a strange brew of postmodern aesthetics, anti-capitalist rhetoric, and Marxist class warfare tossed back with a rather slapdash scheme for an alternate reality that viewers and critics are still complaining about 5 years later. While it's true that the filmmakers didn't fully hash out the practicality or reasonableness of an alternate universe inhabited and maintained exclusively by machines without any human interference or participation whatsoever, I rather like the narrative conceit that supports the movie. The idea is simple. Pixar has given character, human character, with all the personality, creativity, emotional quality, and diversity that we customarily identify with it, to our status symbols, the machine-made machines that Americans, more than anyone else, largely allow to define our identities and social statuses, to capture our essence, our personality, our sex appeal, and our tax bracket all at once. Or, on the other hand, the machine-made machines that we allow to enslave us with the financial blessings that the American God of quick and independent transportation bestows on all his faithful followers. And one of these benefits is the job enjoyed by nearly every American who doesn't have access to good public transportation or who doesn't live in walking distance of his place of employment. Gee, I think that's most of us. And as ungodly urban planners and politicians continue to cudgel the once beautiful American cityscape into an unwalkable suburban geography of nowhere, cars become that much more important to our happiness and are that much more susceptible to becoming idols. The Cars world, which with its maps, interstates, Route 66 signs, media personalities, culture, and governators, is portrayed as the actual nation of the United States of America, isn't run exclusively by cars, however. Trains, planes, helicopters, tractors, harvesters, and more all play their own roles in painting a mechanical picture of the American landscape, which both equates people with the machines that define them and images the machines that most modern Americans act like, as powerful men and women callously repudiating morality and beauty in pursuit of money and fame, or as the apathetic sheep of a brainwashed generation responding to the brutish animal stimuli of media, politicians, and rewritten government education, like faceless data points responding to new variables. Accordingly, since cars are products, and since we're letting our products define us, much of Cars illustrates commoditization, the act of transforming something not previously marketable into a commodity. Everything is a product in this movie. Here are 6 examples. Firstly, no matter how good McQueen gets, he's still just a product for someone else to showcase and sell, whether it's his agent or his sponsor, his fans, or someone else. Secondly, McQueen has a hard time not thinking of everything and everyone around him as products manufactured for his enjoyment, and accordingly tells Sally to stand there and let me look at you. Thirdly, several parts of the actual film are requisitioned by a fictitious, advertisement-ridden television program. Fourthly, sexual attraction throughout the movie is allowed to be localized in body mods and custom parts to one's car, running consonant with the sex appeal that many people invest in their vehicles. Fifthly, even the soundtrack is uncharacteristically commercial in its blandness. Besides all the top 40 Clear Channel fluff, they even co-opted Randy Newman to write some of the worst music of his career for this movie. And finally, for much of the film, success is identified with corporate sponsorship, with images of the status-giving money man peppering your exterior in stickers, the name that Sally, McQueen's love interest, uses for this super capitalist race car when they first cross paths. All this is one big legitimate moral crisis, and I can appreciate this Pixar universe that imbues America's status symbols and mechanical slave drivers with the values we unconsciously ascribe to them in order to teach kids a valuable lesson. But Cars is a mixed bag at best. For starters, what are we to make of the class warfare involved with the barely articulate blue-collar tractors who share the exact same identity structure as every other human-like living being in the movie, but have to be herded around like cattle by the more evolved town dwellers? And why is the only successful business owner near the small leaky town of Radiator Springs portrayed as perhaps Satan himself, a big red-faced demon harvester by the name of Frank who practically breathes fire and tries to kill McQueen and Mater for toying with his exploited Cadillac proletariat tractor workforce? Are there some not-so-subtle Darwinian and Marxist undercurrents pulsing through this film? And what about the value lessons? And there are some, to be sure. Not only does McQueen learn to think about others, but he learns to lose his arrogance, rearrange his priorities, keep promises, appreciate beauty, and even sacrifice his former ideal of perfection, winning the Piston Cup, to do the right thing in a moment of Christ-like redemption. But these morals come from nowhere. They proceed out of an amoral vacuum, which makes sense given that Cars is criticizing the influence of machines on the American way of life, which certainly cannot make room for religion or faith. But it doesn't teach kids the right lesson. Instead, it shows how unpleasurable it is to be arrogant or selfish in the long run, and how personal sacrifice can win you the respect and love of others. There are no real substantive values at play anywhere in this film. I give Cars 3 stars for engaging some of the more provocative issues plaguing the American lifestyle today. Our emotional and personal slavery to status and prestige, our greed, our departure from God's prescribed plan for human personhood, and even our terrible urban planning. But also for botching it. Pixar allowed themselves to be far too postmodern in this movie, and in poor taste, emulated the very things they criticized while throwing hollow value assessments at kids in a moral vacuum. So much could be said about any Pixar film, so if you've seen the original Cars, we'd love your thoughtful perspective in a comment. Also, remember to catch Movieology online at movieology.tv, the source for worldview enthusiasts, news, reviews, and discussion of all things film. And please do us a favor, share Movieology with your friends that like to discuss movies. I'm Ben Hodges. Until next time, thank you for watching Movieology.
We have our very own Ben Hodges, who works as a communication specialist of American Vision. Ben, great to have you on the show.
Here are 6 examples. Why did I hold it in my hand like that?
And that's an interesting little what?
It's like, man, this is some voodoo, man. Okay, all right. I messed this up. I don't know why. And women callously repudiating. Why? That was good. This is the end. This is the end. My only friend, the end. Okay. So much could be said about any Pixar film,